Well, welcome everyone to Unity this morning. My name is Dyann Castro-Wehr, and I'm your service assistant today. Thank you for coming in and joining us, and thank you to those of you who have joined us online. Today, we're happy to welcome Cheryl Hodge as our music minister today. And we want to give a shout out to our AV team in the back there supporting us, our greeters, people who have provided food today, our chaplain, who is Frank today, Reverend Frank will be the chaplain today. In any way, and anybody else who's participated in today's service in any way, including all of you who have come to join it to make it what it will be today. Thank you. Today's message is going to be delivered by Malin, our very own Malin. We're super excited to see you and to hear you today. And I invite you to come up and give a little preview about what our theme is. So the theme is stuff versus things. What's blocking your flow? So as we prepare now for our time of reflection and meditation, let's take these words from the song and just begin to settle into this part of our service.
I go to God in prayer. I know my God is there. In the silence I hear that the dark holds no fear, so I go to God in prayer. I go to God in prayer. I know my God is there. There is freedom that's sought, so I pray as Christ taught. When I go to God in prayer, now I go to my God in prayer.
We enter into a time of prayer with open hearts. I invite you to sink into your heart space at this time and see what arises. If there's a particular person or situation that's on your heart right now, I invite you to say their names or speak it aloud if you would like. And together, we set the intention that as each prayer intention is spoken, that person or situation is bathed in love, and the highest good is realized. And continuing in this space of quiet reflection, I'd like to read a poem this morning that was written by Mary Elizabeth Cotton, and it's called Let Us Listen. Just for a while, let us silence our minds and open our hearts. Just for a while, let us listen within. Listen, not to gain knowledge, not to formulate questions, rather to chance upon sacred bonds and profound wisdom. Just for a while, let us not seek information or answers. Let us not rouse the intellect, but embrace the spirit. If thoughts cloud the brain, may we let them pass. If replies tingle on the tongue, may we let them pass, and let us breathe them away silently. Return to them later. But here in this precious time of sharing, let us listen. Let the words wash over us and seep into a still, quiet pool. Let us listen. So we take a few moments now to listen. We'll sit in quiet for about 2 minutes, settling into a time of deep listening. So I invite you to a comfortable seated position. Gently close your eyes or soften your gaze. Taking a few deep breaths, feel the expansion and release. Release. Wherever you notice you're holding tension or energy, release and breathe into that space. Shift now your awareness from your breath to some of the sounds around you. Allow them to come to you, noticing the layers of the sound landscape. Notice. Practice receiving each sound without labeling it as good or bad. Observe the rising and falling of each noise, noticing the silence that exists between them. And if your mind begins to analyze a sound or wander into thoughts, gently return your focus to the simple act of hearing. Now turn your attention to the sounds within your own body, the whisper of your breath or the rhythmic pulse of your heart. Acknowledge any internal dialogue or thinking with kindness. Allow these inner voices to exist without needing to engage or fix them. So we enter our time of silence. Slowly bring your awareness back to the weight of your body in your chair and the feeling of your feet on the floor. Opening your eyes when you feel ready. Know that you can carry this quality of presence into your day. This practice is yours. You can do it anytime you feel the need.
This is a very old song written by Billie Holiday. It's a song about possessions and the way people see them. Them that's got shall get, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, and it's still is news. Your mama may have, your papa may have. God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. You know, rich relations might give you a crust of bread and such. Go on, help yourself, but don't take too much. Well, now your mama, she may have, Papa may have, and yet God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Money. You got lots of friends just crowding round your door. Yet when that money's gone and all that spending ends, what do you think? You think you're gonna see them come around? No. You won't see them come around, not no more. Those rich relations might give you a crust of bread and such. Help yourself, but don't take too much. Because your mama may have, Papa he may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. Ooh, that's got his own, yeah. You got lots of friends. They'll be crowding round your door. But when that money goes away, and then your spending ends, they don't come crowding round your way no more. Rich relations, they give you crust of bread and such. Help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, Papa may have, but you know what? God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. That's got his own.
Thank you, Cheryl. Good morning. Stuff versus things. What's blocking your flow? I want to talk about stuff, not things. Things are countable, specific, organized. Stuff is the other category. The vague, uncomfortable, messy accumulation of a lifetime. Stuff is what fills our closets, our garages, our shelves, and sometimes our inner world. For years, I lived in a house my mom and I had turned into a home. It held 2 lifetimes of belongings, hers and mine. And like most of us, I could always see her clutter more clearly than I did my own. But when she passed, and I began sorting through her things, I discovered something uncomfortable. After all her boxes were gone, there was still plenty of my own treasures left behind. The attachment ran deeper than I had admitted. When the dishwasher leaked, the downstairs flooring had to be replaced. Everything, dishes, books, art, trinkets, were packed up and hauled away. And suddenly, I was living in a hotel for months. That was the first nudge, a quiet voice whispering how good it felt to live in a small, uncluttered space. I felt light. When the remodel was finished and the moving company returned with all the boxes, so many boxes, the second nudge wasn't quiet at all. It was like an elephant sitting on my chest. I walked into a maze of cardboard walls, both literal and emotional. A wall that keeps me rooted in the past and blocked me from the moving forward. In the middle of navigating the physical chaos, I found myself seeking spiritual grounding. During the white stone service, after feeling a clear, quiet nudge from my intuition, I wrote, "Let go." I put the words down in Sharpie, and when I picked up the stone, it split cleanly in 2. Let on one side, go on the other. It was a simple moment, but the message landed with real clarity. I spend a lot of time in the forest, held and nurtured by trees. But when I visit my friend in Seaside, Oregon, I'm always drawn to the beach, and I stare out her living room window at the vastness of the sky. Looking up, feeling that expansive openness, and I realized my home didn't feel like that. My home felt like the opposite of sky. That contrast stayed with me when I returned home and began opening boxes. Going through the books, I found a lifetime of searching for what I thought was missing in me. Titles promising to fix the broken parts, promising answers, promising transformation. And I realized something profound. I wasn't broken. Maybe I never was. Those books helped me at a time, but I had outgrown that version of myself. where they were needed. Then came the memories tucked inside boxes, a ponytail and a bauble from 3rd grade, cut off during a traumatic time when everything in my life was shifting. A move, a new school, the death of my best friend, and a teacher too overwhelmed with so many students that she didn't notice one more hurting child. My mom, tired of brushing out my tangles, had cut it off, and somehow that little ponytail had survived decades. There were ashes, my parents, my cat Polani, who'd been gone for 25 years, and sweet Sedona's. There were sketch pads of every size filled with images, both my mom's and my own. Each of them carried a story. Each story carried weight. There were over 40 rolls of Scotch tape from every room in the house, because apparently we believed tape was a form of security. And there were moments when I felt like letting go of these things meant erasing my parents, erasing myself. But then something beautiful happened. I found a box of my dad's matted photographs in the garage, packed away for 22 years. Today, many of them hang on my neighbor's wall, where my dad's photographic eye is now being honored. My mom's paintings, once lined up in the back of the studio collecting dust, now hang in a couple's home, bringing them joy. They have sold for less than what I thought they were monetarily worth, but their true value is finally being recognized. A friend nudged me again, this time with Marie Kondo and Swiss death cleaning videos. And I started to understand this wasn't about getting rid of stuff. It was about making space for flow. As I moved through this process, I began to see that what I was doing physically was mirroring what was happening spiritually. Faith moved with the change, quiet at first, then with a steady rhythm that taught me how to trust what I couldn't yet see. It carried me through uncertainty, reminding me that transformation isn't something to fear, but something to walk with, step by step. And then the universe seemed to test my new practices of faith. 2 days before closing on my new place, the universe tossed in a plot twist, a glitch, of course. I'd already moved every last piece of furniture out of my house and was basically glamping in my living room. That's when I felt myself sprinting back to the old pleading prayers of my childhood. Please let this go through. Please let this go through, I whispered, as if God were some cosmic customer service rep who just needed me to sound desperate enough. One tiny hiccup, and suddenly I'm bargaining like I'm 8 years old again, believing in the God who hands out miracles like teachers hand out gold stars. The speed of my regression was honestly impressive, so I laughed, because sometimes the only thing to do is to catch yourself in the act and enjoy the ridiculousness of being human. Strength helped me do with the hard parts, not the loud dramatics, but in small moments, choosing to keep going, choosing to speak truth, choosing to heal even when it stings. It grounded me when everything else felt uneasy. As a teacher and an artist, I collected things that eventually became stuff, the kind of stuff that quietly multiplies when you're not looking. Paper, paintbrushes, magazines, basically anything that whispered, "You might use me for a project someday." And it wasn't just my home. My classroom had become its own ecosystem of stuff. When I retired, I opened my classroom to the other teachers like it was some kind of educational estate sale. Sets of books, art supplies, even a fake jellyfish tank that calmed students, not just from my class, from others as well. Then the students got wind of the classroom giveaway, And suddenly they were asking if they could adopt the stuffed animals, the cozy lamps I bought, so we didn't live under that harsh fluorescent lighting. They took watercolor and pastel sets and arms full of our library books. By the end, it felt less like clearing out a classroom and more like rehoming small pieces of our connection. But even after all that, I still brought home boxes of art supplies and beautifully illustrated picture books, just in case. Because you never know when inspiration will strike or when a perfectly good glue stick might be needed. In Power Up, the 12 Powers Revisited as Accelerated Abilities, I did find the book. Sorry. Paul Hasselbeck and Cher Holton emphasizes that release is not passive. It's an empowering choice. They write, in order to say yes, we must be able to say no, pointing to the inner authority required to clear space in our consciousness. Building on that idea, I see release as a spiritual skill of consciously pruning my inner and outer life. Letting go isn't about loss, it's about alignment. When I release beliefs, thoughts, or physical clutter that no longer support who I'm becoming, I'm filled with energy and a stronger clarity. There's almost an audible click with it. Click, and I know I am moving in the right direction. Just like my closet can only hold so much, my mind and heart have limits too. When they're filled with obligations or outdated stories, there's no room for new insight, possibilities, or creativity. And this made me think what let go really means. Release or letting go invites us to notice what drains us. Habits, assumptions, or patterns that once served a purpose but now keep us stuck. Saying no with integrity from a grounded yes to our own well-being. Create space intentionally, trusting that what we clear out makes room for what we truly desire to welcome in. Let go without guilt, recognizing that growth naturally requires shedding. Letting go frees us to live from choice rather than compulsion. It opens the door for the other powers to be expanded more fully, because a cluttered consciousness gets in the way of us fulfilling our highest potential. Love guided me to honor my parents and myself. It softened the edges of old wounds and made space for compassion. It taught me that honoring them didn't mean losing myself, and honoring myself did not mean abandoning them. Wisdom balanced my head and heart. It helped me see that holding on closes off the flow, and letting go opens my spiritual faucet. It reminds me that clarity comes when I pause and listen. The more I listen, the nudges to the nudges, or that quiet voice, the stronger my spiritual connection grows. It's no longer a belief, it's an inner knowing. That intuition said, you're not losing anything, you're making room. And every time I felt blocked, every time the clutter felt like a mountain, I asked one simple question: what is mine to do? Not what guilt demands, not what the past demands, and not what fear demands, but what the present moment, guided by faith, asks of me. And slowly the flow returns. Because in the end, it's not the things that block us, it's the stuff, the unexamined attachments, the emotional weight, the stories we think we have to carry. When we let go, we don't erase the people we love. We don't erase our history. We simply create space for our true essence to breathe again. And that is where flow lives. I'd like to invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze for a moment. Imagine a space in your life, physical or emotional, that feels light, open, uncluttered. A place where you feel expansive like the sky. What does that feel like in your body? What quality does that place awaken in you? I'd like to invite everyone to take a slow, deep breath and exhale together. May what no longer serves you fall away with grace. May what wants to flow towards you find space to arrive. Thank you.